We're talking about 2040. If I had to make a prediction, is a lot of these ideas will just start being thought of. The technology is going to be so far ahead of actual businesses being created, and the regulatory environment's going to actually be the problem. 2040 likely going to be a clash between the regulatory environment and technology and new ideas.
Welcome to the Level Design Podcast, a podcast for architects and engineers who want to thrive in this industry by creating more freedom, fulfillment, and financial security. Join us in uncovering how to restore value and honor to the unique people who choose to be designers and caretakers of our built world, and why it's essential to the future of our society, our industry, and our planet.
One would say 15 years is a blink of an eye for many things. And so one would ask, if you're going to ask, what is the construction needs 15 years from now? What is the design needs? What is the society needs out of the construction industry? So what's the economy? What's the human convenience issues? And I would guess that the global climate change 15 years from now really starts to impact or really starts to change existing structures like insurance structures. You know, your insurance and your FEMA for replacing damage related to hurricanes, tornadoes, fires, extreme weather conditions, heat,
floods,
that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of starts to peak or become really, really relevant 15 years from now. And really those existing systems of business, insurance, infrastructure, capacity for this changing environments is just really going to get questioned quite a bit. So it might be a little bit of a crisis mode 15 years from now. The industry in general might be a little chaotic, especially financial chaotic. What happens if Texas or the southern states have to go into rolling brownouts because they don't have the power grid for the air conditioning demand, et cetera. And it was just, that kind of thing. How's that feel for the people in the South where you don't have air conditioning all day at record temps?
Right.
What does that change, So it's interesting. I think that's going to be the real challenge. And they're going to turn to their design community and say, and their utilities and their infrastructure and their governments and say, fix this. Why didn't you see this coming? Hurry up and fix it now. And there's going to be actually this reaction in the industry to capitalize on the urgency. And there's going to be a big influx of contractors taking advantage of the urgency and the design community taking advantage of urgency because there's going to be a shortage. We're losing more American engineering designers than we're gaining. We're retiring more than we're gaining. And a lot of it's going overseas, which is fine. There's a lot of capacity with overseas engineering. But if it's local, if they're localized problems, the talent won't be there. So there's going to be a general shortage of that. So 15 years from now, if I just think about global climate change, I think that's going to be the biggest driver in the construction industry is just this, how do we rebuild after massive tornadoes or massive storms or massive fires? How do we do this at scale, at a much more frequent scale than we're used to? So
yeah, looking at what we're doing already today with AI, robotics, augmented reality, all the crazy tools that are popping up seems like every day in other industries, and you kind of play the tape forward 15 years, which is in today's day and age seems like a long time, or I should say things are moving so fast that a year feels like all this stuff could start to happen. 5 years feels like, whoa, completely different. 15 years is a lot.
Yeah, and AI in the design community it's just fascinatingly fast. It's already here. And 15 years from now, AI is going to be, for design community, is going to be the default practice, I think.
Yeah.
To design a new building or design, architecturally is one thing, the creative part, but actually a lot of architecture is just actually technical. And that can be done by AI. The creative part takes that human, but even that can be assisted with AI. But the technical part, really AI in 15 years is going to be doing the technical part of that architectural design, certainly the structural. Certainly, we just did a drainage master plan with new technology for a 9,000 home development to correct an existing development having problems. Fascinated me, blew me away what the new technology can do. I was just like, this is crazy talk that this is even possible.
What were some of those technologies? technologies?
Well, really, we're taking, new survey technologies, new LiDAR technologies, and we're flying over, and now we're surveying within an inch elevation wise of existing conditions. And now we're plugging it into these softwares, and now we're plugging in storm events, a certain storm event, and we can literally see in real time water getting ponding and increasing. So as an event comes in, and we can plug that in the computer and literally watch the entire acreage in little ditches and little culvert and retention ponds actually fill up, flood, and then recede in real time.
Yeah, because I can imagine, with LiDAR and everything you have, it's just math, it's numbers, it's depth, it's peaks and valleys, it's topo. So you can kind of run those simulations and see what would happen, which I've never really thought about that. That's actually really cool.
It's super. I was just like, God, this is crazy, because now we're really efficient about targeting, like, well, what if we change that culvert and remodel it? We go, that worked. Where before we used to just take wild, educated guesses at what it needed, but now it's so solved for us that we can really, really take the resources of money and time and do the correct improvement for the correct storm. So there's efficiencies in that.
Yeah. I mean, this actually seems like a really great time to get into this field, because you're just going to get more efficient. It's going to be a little more fun, because you're going to be able to trust a lot of these tools to show you what's the outcome to your changes in your design. What risks are there? I feel like AI and all these technologies are really great at finding efficiencies and diagnosing mistakes and coming up with problems. So I feel like it's a really cool time to, because there's a lot of stress and accountability in this field. And I feel these technologies help to lessen that.
Yeah. For the technical mind, it's these folks that are young men and women are so tech oriented and savvy that are going into, like, I'm just going to say, interested in gaming or interested in software writing because of the revenue or the reward for that industry. But I'm going to say those technical people, the opportunity in engineering and architecture and design, it's gotten so technical and going to continue to get technical in the computer industry for engineering and architecture. Engineering and architecture is going to be like, a lot of it's going to be high-tech software related thinking and knowledge needs. So it's going to be really fascinating. But I hope the tech industry, a young STEM student that likes that computer and that software, starts to think about engineering and architecture, because we need those folks now. It's just so technical and so software driven and super, super interesting.
So let's say we're in 2040.
2040.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is wild that's actually not that far away.
It's not.
So we're in 2025 right now. So let's start with fully integrated digital ecosystems. So we have building information modeling, 5D, 6D. BIM will evolve into a fully immersive real-time platform that integrates not just 3D design, but also cost, 5D, and lifecycle management, 6D. Engineers, architects, and contractors will collaborate in a shared virtual environment, eliminating silos and miscommunication.
Yeah, so many minds, human minds will, if a particular group or owner wants to build a building, we used to have to try to create a physical model so that the 2D mind, there's certain minds that just can't visualize in 3D. When you look at a 2D piece of paper or drawing and go, this is what they're building, a lot of human minds can't interpret that 2D into a 3D space.
Right.
So we used to have to make these models, physical models, scale models, to kind of help that owner group actually understand or actually be okay with how to proceed with the project. Well, think about that. You can't just make models over and over and over in any kind of fast pace, but now you can. So the technologies will actually put you into that space, 3D space. And now we're talking about, you can actually walk the space. You can actually show an owner your latest design and actually have them put on a pair of goggles and walk through the plan.
Insane.
Into the office, take a left, take a right. I don't like that door there, because you actually went through it.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, so that's going to be common practice 15 years from now. Is you're going to literally send a file and they're going to put on a pair of goggles and walk through your proposed building.
That's really cool. It's a little scary, but it feels inevitable once you start to realize that this stuff is possible and you think about the applications, it only makes sense to do stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine the architect or the interior designer? You got a whole staff room of designers and you got your client with goggles or whatever actually walking through your design, go, hey, what does it look like with a walnut conference room table? And the designer can plug that in. Oh, I hate it. What about a glass conference room table? And actually
switch it.
That's what's going to be happening. That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Just switch it real time, go, through the options.
Looking for a new opportunity? Interested in being part of an expanding network of independent engineers and architects who are thinking differently? Level Design Partners is on a mission to create prosperity for design professionals, the industry, and the world, using innovative business systems and a culture of collaboration. We believe that traditional education and firm structures want you to be a cog in their machine, depriving you of key skills needed to thrive, thus commoditizing an entire industry in the process. Gain access to skills, tools, and systems by partnering with Level Design Partners. Learn more at leveldesignpartners.com.
And then the carbon footprint model, it's already happening now, structural engineering wise. You can put into those models, hey, what's the most efficient material to structurally, efficiently to do this building? And the engineering model will do that. We'll give you the most efficient materials and type of materials to build the building. And wow, now we're just reducing carbon footprint by a ton.
Right.
Because of the computer's ability to crunch the numbers quickly.
And it'll learn. So with every project, it'll get better and smarter and see patterns and be able to get more and more efficient. And then speaking to sustainability, so here's some potentials for 2040. Carbon neutral construction. So by 2040, most projects will aim for net zero carbon emissions. Materials like carbon-absorbing concrete, recycled steel, and bio-based composites will dominate. Circular economy, so buildings, this is crazy to me. We probably are doing this to an extent, but we should be doing this now. Circular economy is buildings will be designed with disassembly in mind, allowing materials to be reused and or recycled at the end of their life cycle.
Yeah. Imagine, Miles, too, the number of new businesses around this. One would say the businesses that will be created with new materials, composite materials, recycling materials, adding composites, manipulating, and then putting a product out so that the AI or the designer can use these new recycled materials in the most efficient manner. Think of the amount of businesses that'll be created in this. It's just mind-boggling.
So many opportunities here. For the entire industry, for engineers, architects, builders, managers, everyone in between. I mean, this is the reason why it's so easy to be afraid of AI and reluctant. I mean, everyone should be, but that side of it is kind of inevitable and there's not really a whole lot we can do about it. So looking at the positives, there are so many really cool things that we can do with AI.
There's so many.
And you might as well embrace it and learn it because it will only give you more skills and power and flexibility, creativity, time, resources. I mean, it's just going to give you so much more leverage to work with in your career.
Yeah. And you were talking about 2040. If I had to make a prediction, is a lot of these ideas will just start being thought of. The technology is going to be so far ahead of actual businesses being created, and the regulatory environment is going to actually be the problem. So the codes and the industry won't be reacting fast enough to accept these things. And I think in 2040, you're going to actually be looking at the building codes and the regulatory environment with critical eye, going, this has to change. The code industries and the leaders and the committees of the code industries are not keeping up with technology and material changes. And I actually think it's going to be 2040, likely going to be a clash between the regulatory environment and technology and new ideas.
Yeah. Wow. Well, at that point, the government will just be AI. So,
well, yeah, if Elon had his way, right?
Okay. So some other things to look out for. We've got predictive analytics. AI will analyze vast amounts of data. This is what you were just talking about, weather patterns, material performance, labor efficiency to predict and mitigate risk during construction. Smart contracts. So Blockchain technology will automate contracts, ensuring transparency and accountability between stakeholders, and then real-time monitoring. So this is cool too, because how many buildings get forgotten about, neglected, go past their due date of inspection, so on and so forth. And then a lot of issues arise, a lot of waste.
Even just recently, we used to go into an existing building and we'd have to measure it and figure it out and take its existing conditions, measure it, really conventionally measuring it, and then drafting, then going back to the desk and drafting this thing based on your measurements. And just in the last few years, now you can take your smartphone and you can videotape and walk around and actually be kind of sloppy about it and videotape it. And that software will convert it into a drawing, including the couches, the plants, the window sizes, the height of the rooms, its exact dimensions within an inch, and do it in minutes.
Yeah.
In CAD.
Jeez.
And that's today. So LiDAR, literally 15 years, drawings of buildings will be so fast that now what the industry kind of looks at existing buildings and go, I don't want to do that work. It's too much work. Now it's going to be really convenient to look at an existing building and go, this will survey it, have it within a couple of hours, the existing conditions, and now let's put it in AI and create all the potential new uses or ideas of the space for a potential developer.
Yeah.
Now that technology makes it so much more convenient to think about reusing existing buildings.
Yeah.
Where now it's just, it was painful 5 years ago.
Right.
Now it's not.
I love that you said videotape too.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's good. You got to represent
What's the tape part?
your generation.
Oh, God.
This is why, not to toot our own horn or anything, but it just makes more and more sense as this stuff starts to evolve to explore that independent component of you already have everything you need. If you can figure out how to get these projects, how to win these projects, you have everything you need to thrive, and you can go out and do it on your own, or you can join Level Design Partners and be a part of a national collaborative that's doing this with the tools and the mentorship and the experience. It's inevitable that this is going to start to happen. It's going to be more commonplace in the next few years.
I think what you're speaking to is the Level model is a modern model of business and engineering and architecture in the build space. And what it's speaking to, the business model of Level, what we created was a business model that is very agile and very adapted to change because it's each individual collaborator is free to adjust and go after the new ideas without corporate approval, and is actually encouraged to go after those modern things and be on the cutting edge in their communities and across the country and adapting and changing as new opportunities present. And the business model actually feeds that thinking. Feeds that agility. The business structure itself is uniquely structured for modernization, agility, and thriving. So yeah, I think that's what you're speaking to.
Yeah, definitely. It's just an evolving world. So if you can harness it a little bit, even, there's just so much opportunity here. You've got workforce transformation, more specialists, obviously kind of AI and all these different tools, people that specialize in those. Remote collaboration also just becomes more possible.
Imagine so we have this, we have the skilled labor group, which is we're also in a shortage of skilled labor. But imagine 15 years from around 2040 where you could actually, the designer could actually put a visual for the builder group and actually explain in visual terms how to build a building.
Wow.
From the foundation up.
Yep. Every piece.
Hey, do this first. Can you see, pay attention to this reinforcement detail. This one's important. We want you to make sure you're doing this X, Y, Z, and do it visually. And the contractors just sit there for 3 days or a week before they start, and they can reflect back on it. Hey, we're on the third floor. This brace is, I remember let's rerun that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that? Holy cow.
You can have like on the management side, the project management, big picture, you can have the budget and make changes that increase or lower the budget. And
the contractor that has the most savvy is the one that's going to have the advantage in the bid.
100%
of this technology. Yeah,
absolutely.
They're going to be the little bit. Yeah. And that would be the engineers, project engineers, construction management industry that has got a really, really strong technical background. Again, those computer savvy STEM students, the construction industry is just going to need you guys, right?
Yeah. Well, in conclusion, by 2040, the construction process will be a seamless blend of automation, sustainability, and digital collaboration. Engineers and architects will play a pivotal role in shaping this future, leveraging cutting-edge tools to create resilient, adaptive, and environmentally friendly structures. While challenges remain, the opportunities for innovation and impact are boundless.
All right, I'm going to change that prediction. 2040 is going to be a chaos of process and will not be seamless. It's going to be fraught with old structures failing and new ideas being hampered by the governance of the building code. I think this will be the peak of chaos. I think 2060, you'll be able to say this, but I don't think 2040 is going to be pretty.
Well, I'll have you and ChatGPT talk about that in 2040. See who was right.
I'll be 90 something, right? But how old will I be? I'll be in my
You'll still be saying videotape. It's all good.
Yeah, we can reflect back on this. But I actually don't think 2040 is going to be a pretty time for the industry.
Yeah, you've got ethical issues. You've got cybersecurity, cloud, energy issues. I mean, there's so many things we have to overcome. Government. Yeah, it's going to be a wild journey, but let's do it.
It's going to be old systems that are broken, not applicable, and new ones have to be created. Yeah,
exactly. Well, awesome. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
That was insightful.
Thanks, Moss.
Thanks for listening. If you found value in this episode, support us by sharing it with someone or leaving a review. In upcoming episodes, we'll discuss the realities of the industry today and what the future may look like. It's our belief that positive changes for architects and engineers is not the obligation of the industry, but rather a choice you make to reimagine how we work together. We invite you to join us in creating a world in which design professionals thrive. Learn about our mission and get involved by following us wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribing to our newsletter at leveldesignpartners.com.